like get comfortable and then pull it in. Because a lot of people like they sit the whole time.
So get comfortable.
Yeah, and then pull it in. You want to just a little bit low, point it up at your. There you go. Yeah, and then talk.
All
How
right.
does that sound?
How does that sound?
That sounds good to me. Sound
Okay.
good to you?
Yep.
All right.
Sounds good to me.
Kashif is in the house.
All right.
Do you go by? Does anyone call you Kashif? Kashif? Am I saying that right? Kashif.
Yeah, Kashif.
Kashif.
I mean, proper way would be Kashif.
Kashif.
If you got the Indian accent, Kashif.
Does anyone call you Kashif?
A couple of friends and my mom used to call me Kashif.
Mm-hmm.
So
When did you start going by Kash? Because I mean that's kind of a great nickname, if you will. Like when you were in college, were you Kash? When you were in high school, were you Kash?
I'm trying to think. I think once I left home and moved abroad, because I grew up in England. I think that's when I started going by Kash. I think maybe no. I think
So
it
you
was
had to get out of.
I think once I was in started working and I was purely in a white environment.
Yeah.
Then it was Kash because nobody. Yeah.
Kashif.
If I said, "What's your name?" Kashif. Kash what?
Cash.
Just Kash.
Yeah.
And they remember it.
I'm
That's
accepted everywhere.
Yeah.
Cash.
Yeah.
But you grew up in England.
I grew up in England. Yeah.
Where in England? In
Manchester.
Manchester.
A tiny little town called Rochdale.
Okay. And your parents, how long? Like, were they first generation or had? Because I don't know if a lot of Americans know it, but like, there's a huge Indian population in England, right?
Indian and Pakistani. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm Pakistani.
You're Pakistani.
Yeah.
You're not Indian. Got it. Well, I'm already an asshole. You were talking to people with the Indian. I was like, okay, you're Pakistani. Were they first generation there or?
So my parents were born in India because Pakistan didn't exist at the time. So I was born in Pakistan.
Okay.
So I was like 2 or 3 years old when I moved to England.
And
with
then
my parents.
Yeah. And what'd your parents do in England? How do you? And why England? Why was that? Why did people make that move? Because a lot did.
Well, I mean, it goes back to the British colony, right?
Mm-hmm.
So India used to be, British ruled for like 200 years. And then, after World War II, India wanted independence.
Mm-hmm.
You might have heard of Gandhi.
Yeah.
And so, when they started discussing the independence of India, there was a large majority Muslim citizens that wanted, their own country.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how basically Pakistan was created. So basically the majority Muslim areas of India became Pakistan. So you had East Pakistan and West Pakistan, and East Pakistan is Bangladesh now.
Okay.
And West Pakistan just became Pakistan.
Right. Educate me because I'm an idiot here. I'm very ignorant. If Pakistan wasn't a place yet,
Mm-hmm.
wait, it became a place after World War II, pre-you.
Correct.
Okay, so then your parents or your family lived in that area, which became Pakistan, which means you're Pakistani. So if that hadn't
Yeah, so my dad was actually born in the area which is Pakistan today.
Mm-hmm.
Right? My mom was born, which is still India today. So she migrated over the line into Pakistan.
But pre all that, everybody was Indian.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the difference? Besides a line on the ground that said, now we're Pakistani and now we're Indian.
Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing. I
Nothing.
mean, if
the food's the same, the culture's the same,
yeah, I mean, from region to region, even within Pakistan, even within India,
and anywhere here, the south, the north,
exactly.
Yeah, food,
so the way they make the food and the spice levels and all of that kind of stuff, the curries and the food is different from every different part of India and Pakistan. So it's tasty. It's tasty.
It's so good.
Yeah.
My favorite food is Indian food. Yeah. I don't know why I had to say that, but I did.
I made some on Tuesday. My daughter had friends over, and I made
What'd you make?
chicken tikka masala.
Which is the very British Indian. It's like
Mm-hmm.
it's like a huge dish in Britain,
It's the national dish of England.
which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But also, the rest of their food tasted horrible. So when that culture moved in and brought those spices, they were like, finally, something delicious.
Well, yeah.
Is there any British food that you're like, no, like, because I think that's like a running joke on the planet of like British food is very bland.
I mean, it's just like what is American food? Burgers, But
Well, it depends on where you are. If you're in the South, you got barbecue, right? And then and then depending on where, you've got dry rub versus sauces versus spicier you got the Midwest. You've got a lot of casseroles. You're mixing cheeses and meats and things and potatoes into a big thing and baking it and covering it in cheese and very meat and potatoes.
Yeah. No, I mean, English food is, you're right. I mean, fish and chips, you got a lot of Indian dishes. I guess you got like pies.
Like meat pies was a big thing, right?
Meat pies.
Yeah.
I mean, when I lived in England, I used to love cheese and onion pies.
Cheese and onion.
Cheese and onion.
With and it's like a pie. It's like almost like a pot pie. It's
I don't
a crust on top and.
Yeah, I don't eat meat.
Oh, okay.
Or I rarely eat meat unless I'm making chicken tikka masala.
Mm-hmm.
But I rarely eat meat, and cheese and onion pies was my go-to. So with some chips or French fries. And Heinz baked beans. Not any baked beans. It has to be Heinz, the 57 varieties. If you've never had it,
I don't think I've ever had
baked
Heinz 57. Because there's Heinz 57, the sauce. That's like a steak sauce.
Yeah.
Is it that flavored beans?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's different. It's really good.
I don't think I've ever had.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll get you a can, or if you're in Vaughn's or Ralph's in the specialties section, you won't find them in like the regular baked beans. You won't find them in that. You'll see them more in like the import area. Whatever.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because they don't make it in the U.S. It's imported from the UK. That's why each can, at least at Ralph's, it's like $6, $5.50.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
that's expensive for beans. Which is funny because like beans are like a breakfast food in England, right? Like it's kind of common to have beans with breakfast.
Beans on toast.
And like cold too, or no? Is that a thing? Isn't it? Or they're always hot?
Normally you warm them up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I guess you could have them cold, but
I don't know why. But anytime I see beans that are cold, like they've been cooked, you see them cold and they kind of like gel up a little.
No.
I'm like, that's gross.
No.
That's so gross.
My favorite is toast.
Yeah.
With eggs.
Yep.
Fried egg.
Do fried egg?
Fried egg.
Runny or hard?
A little bit runny.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Heinz baked beans on top. Salt and pepper.
I'm gonna have to try this.
Oh, it's amazing.
And then you eat it by hand, or you knife and fork it?
Knife and fork.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you can make a sandwich out of it if you want.
But knife and fork.
Yeah, like fish and chips with Heinz baked beans.
And are you like, is that on the side, or you're kind of like dipping your fish and your chips? You're poured over the top?
Over the top.
I want to have a full day of meals with you one day. I think that would be like.
Let's do it. Well, let's go to. There's an English pub, Shakespeare's. Have you ever been?
I don't think there's Shakespeare's in the Princess, right?
Yeah, Princess is in Little Italy,
right.
And then Shakespeare's is close to Washington Street.
Yeah.
On India and Washington.
But so Shakespeare's is the British place to go here in San Diego?
Yeah, the fish and chips is really good. They serve it with mushy peas.
Mushy peas?
Yeah, so like peas?
Yeah.
Mushy, so they're like mushy. That's a British thing.
This isn't sounding better.
So I don't like the texture of mushy peas, so I always you can substitute.
Swap it for the. And they have the beans. They have the right kind of beans.
Yeah, actually, next door to Shakespeare's, there's a British shop. So you can go there and you can get British, like the Heinz baked beans. You can get the cheese and onion pies. You can get like the biscuits, like cookies. You guys call them cookies. We call biscuits the cookies. You call biscuits the thick scones. We call those scones. Translation.
Yeah. Hey, we're even in English. Things are different.
You can get all the British stuff there.
God. Okay. Do you go there a lot? Is that something?
I haven't been there in years. Yeah.
How Americanized are you? Like, because you've been here how long? And let's back up. So, born in Pakistan, moved when you were 2 or 3 to England, to Manchester, outside of Manchester, to then, like, after high school, you left for uni, or?
I did an apprenticeship.
In what? What did you?
Aerospace. So I'm a mechanical engineer in aerospace. I used to build planes, basically.
Okay. For who? What kind of planes?
British Aerospace. Passenger planes.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I mean, there's only a couple. There's Boeing, and there's.
Well, yeah. The British Aerospace is only in the defense sector now.
Oh, okay.
It's called BAE, I think. But British Aerospace used to build passenger planes.
Gotcha.
And one that I used to work on was the BAE 146, I think. Maybe 100 or plus passengers, you know, and yeah, I used to build the fuselage and the wing.
So you were turning wrenches. You were building, not just designing. You
drilling,
were
putting the rivets in, putting the
during the design phase or the actual build phase?
Build phase.
Okay.
Yeah. So the apprenticeship was like the first year you're in the workshop, basically learning how to use a file.
Right,
and
sweeping floors and learning the tools.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then the second year you went on the shop floor, we used to call it, and basically shadow somebody who's building the planes and stuff. And then third and fourth year, you're actually drilling the holes and riveting and all of that kind of stuff.
Wow.
And so during that time, I was also going to college and getting my mechanical engineering degree. And so after 4 years, you not only have the education, but you've also got the work experience. But I decided I did not want to build planes, and I wanted to live abroad and travel the world and stuff. So I got a job, and this is before the internet and stuff. This is back in 1991, you know, managed to find a job in Amsterdam, in Holland, in the Netherlands, writing aircraft maintenance manuals.
Like technical manuals.
Manuals, like how to fix the plane and all of that kind of stuff. And so I was a technical writer for like 3 years, writing, you know, service bulletins for planes, like the stuff that I saw, you know. I was writing manuals for this German company. I think it was a Dutch company that got sold to the German company, but it was the Dutch aircraft company was called Fokker.
Yeah, Fokker.
Yeah.
Fokker. Yeah. I mean, that was huge. World War II, they were like building fighters and bombers. Yeah.
Yeah, but they had passenger planes. It was Fokker 50 and Fokker 100, I think.
Fokker.
Fokker. F-O-K-K-E-R.
Yeah. With I
so,
think an umlaut in there or something. There were some dots, weren't there?
I think maybe above the O.
Yeah.
But it was funny because I used to fly from Amsterdam back to Manchester to visit family, and sometimes I would be flying on a Fokker plane, and that previous week I was writing service bulletins, and service bulletins are basically, you know, they've found faults.
Yeah, we found a problem. Here's how to fix it before we have big problems.
And so I would have to write the service bulletin for the people fixing the planes, right? And so they would follow that service bulletin on how to fix that issue, like cracks in the fuselage, all of that kind of stuff. And so I'm writing these service bulletins and then taking a Fokker flight back to England. I'm like,
you're like, did they fix this one yet? Because I know.
Yeah. I've flown all over the world, and I just try not to think about it.
It's funny.
Still the safest way to
Yes,
fly.
it really is. But like recently, all these crazy things that like the one plane in where was it?
Toronto, the one
Was
that
it
landed in Toronto,
the one that
upside down,
literally, yeah. And have you seen the video? Like somebody has a video of it, and it
Mhm.
just slammed in. The one wheel collapsed,
Yeah.
and the wing broke off, and it just rotated,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone climbed out.
Mm-hmm.
Terrifying, but also,
they were all strapped in. I mean, it didn't blow up or anything like that.
and that's
so.
one of those things where people see that and they're like, oh my god, flying is so dangerous. It's like, but what you don't realize is that I don't know, 40 million people flew yesterday on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
And 128 of them had that experience.
Yeah.
But the other 40 million,
Yeah,
they got where they were going.
Just look at car accidents.
Yeah.
In the U.S. or around the world, how many car accidents? How many people died
Every day?
Accident? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
like,
nobody goes like, I'm not getting in a car again.
No.
Right?
But I am I know people that will not fly. And I'm like, I think a lot of people heard this, but like, you're more likely to die on the way to the airport than once you're on the plane.
Yeah.
Then as a pilot, like I fly airplanes and stuff. And that's been an interesting thing because I know like general aviation, Cessnas and things like that I have been flying throughout my life, is about 13 times more dangerous than driving. Mm-hmm. But you drive every day. Like that's the thing is like still and usually, and this is kind of what I count on and why I when I am current and flying right now, I haven't flown in a few years, but it's something I want to get back into. But it's the kind of thing where like, it's usually pilot error. Mm-hmm. The plane rarely fails you. Mm-hmm. It's usually you. And so in my mind, I'm like, as long as I am competent and in the right state of mind, and like I'm willing to be honest with myself, I'm not going to die in an airplane. Yeah.
Yeah. Touch wood. Touch all the wood.
All the wood.
No, I mean, if you do all your checks.
Yeah.
Before getting the plane, the engine works. There's no cracks. There's
right.
The wings are
and
on.
People don't realize that you do that. Like before, and that's whether you're flying a Cessna or you're a captain at an airline and you're flying a Boeing whatever. You literally do a walk around. A Boeing captain climbs down the stairs right before you got on, where the luggage guy's standing there to take your kid's stroller and throw it below.
Oh, I know.
They climb down there. And they walk all the way around the plane. They literally kick the tires. They look up into the holes. They're checking a few different things that have to be checked before every single flight. And they're looking at the wings and the aileron, and they're looking at pressure, or I don't know what you would call it, but like connection points and the wings to the fuselage and certain bolts and da-da-da. And you do that whether it's a Cessna or a Boeing 747.
Yeah. I mean, I see that all the time. Boarding the plane, and the captain's coming out, and I go, "Hello, Captain."
Yeah.
And then he disappears, and then comes back, 10, 15 minutes later. But I mean, they have the technology in the cockpit and everything. They know any sensor that's off. I mean, there's so many sensors.
Yeah.
In the plane that anything that's off. I mean, that's why as soon as the plane lands, the plane's flown across the world or across the country, and then you getting on the plane, and suddenly 5 minutes before takeoff, they're going like, well, ladies and gentlemen, we found a screw loose, waiting for maintenance. I'm like, but you just flew it. I mean, what went wrong?
And how'd you find it?
Yeah,
but you're right. The sensor and the redundancy on aircraft, like multiple hydraulic systems, the planes don't fall out of the sky.
Yeah, this light won't go off, so we're calling maintenance. So you're going to be delayed.
There you go. So you're writing technical manuals for repairs in Amsterdam. Mm-hmm. What kind of life? And you're a young man. You're a young 21-year-old guy in Amsterdam. What kind of trouble and fun are you getting up to in Amsterdam?
This is back in 1991.
Okay.
So
the world's a pretty fun place.
It's a fun place. There's no
pre 9/11, pre
9 everything.
Yeah.
Pre internet.
Yeah. No camera phones.
No
Nobody
camera
knows.
Phones.
There's no.
I mean, I had a analog camera, film camera. I used to take photos with that, get those developed. But yeah, that was a completely different world back then. You just, went out, I rode a bike to work, as you do.
That's very Amsterdam, right? Isn't that
very
kind of
very Holland, very
Holland in general?
It's not like here in San Diego where you got bike lanes and
Yeah.
there's like maybe one cyclist an hour. I mean, they've got bike lanes alongside the highway. So, you take the highway from city to city, that same highway, separately, not on the same
Yeah.
highway, fighting against the drivers. But you've got bike lanes.
And people are taking the bike lane city to city, or they're
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. I mean,
It's
but there's more bicycles than people in Holland.
that's like our guns here.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you go down to like the train station. Have you been to Holland? To the
No,
Netherlands?
I have not
Yeah,
traveled.
if you go to Central Station, Amsterdam, there's 10,000 bikes all locked up outside.
Because somebody rode it to the train station. They're hopping on a train to go.
Yeah.
Wherever.
To work or wherever they're going. I think I saw some videos recently. I think they've built a bike garage under the station.
Because there's that many.
Mm-hmm.
So there's more people riding bikes to the train station than cars.
Yeah, but it's scattered all over the city. Like on the bridges, you ever see those canals, and then you got the bridges going over the canals. There's like bikes chained to the railings on the bridges.
That's,
Like
I
they're
mean,
everywhere.
that just makes for more fun of a life, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Like everyone's kind of like, you're passing people every day. You're on your route. You're getting to know people. You're not like closed off in your car.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
how long?
but you're getting exercise. That's the
yeah.
thing. I mean, when I lived in Europe, I never went to the gym because I didn't own a car. So, either I walk to the train station or the trolley station or whatever, or you rode a bike to work. So you were always getting your steps in, or
you're just naturally moving.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like that's a lot of Europe. Like you see, the fact that a lot of people in Italy are eating. One, the food's fresher. I think that's a big thing. But also, like everyone's moving. New York City, you see that, or at least you used to. Like everywhere you went, you were walking, and if it was too far to walk, which was pretty far, it had to be like way uptown for you to get a cab. Besides that, you were just walking. Like, yeah, we're going to walk 15 blocks.
Yeah,
whatever.
I mean, I've been to New York so many times. I've actually walked, I want to say, like from like Midtown all the way to like Lower Manhattan.
Yeah.
Like Battery Park,
Yeah.
And then back.
Yeah. My brother lived there for a couple of years. I spent like half a summer there, like a month and a half, almost 2 months. And on the weekends, he was working, and I was kind of like interning at the company he was at. But every night we'd finish up, we'd literally just pick a new direction and start walking. And the adventure you would get in, the people you would see, if it was a Friday or a Saturday night, we had this ritual the whole time I was there that we'd hit the little bodega, and we'd get two tall boys, like two big, the tall beers, and we'd pound one and then walk with the other. And that was just like, that was a good, what a start to an adventure.
Yeah, just
and you
walking.
had no clue what you were going to find, but we were like, the amount of times we ended up on some street in some place that we were like, all right, we kind of like, all right, we know where we are, but we're also like, we've turned and weaved in and out of, blocks and buildings and whatever. And then all of a sudden there's like some guy sitting on a stool. There's like nothing going on, but there's one guy sitting on a stool next to a plant in like a pot in front of a door. And then you just walk up to him and you're like, what's going on? He's like, ID. You give him your ID and you go inside. And it's like the most beautiful bar you've ever seen with like live jazz music going on. And it's packed, which doesn't make sense because outside it was like dead. And it was like, man, I remember it just blew my mind all the time. Like, and it's beautiful because you can't find that. Here I can walk to the beach. I can walk to, a coffee shop, but our cities are not designed for it.
Yeah. No, I mean, the best way to find cool places, just wander around. Just wander any city.
Get lost.
Get lost in the city. I've discovered so many amazing like places just by wandering and going like, what is that place? And you just go check it out. You hear some music, go check it out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's full of surprises.
And so, how long were you in Amsterdam?
About 3.5 years.
And why'd you leave? Ready for the next thing, or what?
Well, going back to my culture, you know, coming from Pakistan,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, it's tradition, you know, like an arranged marriage, etc. And so, yeah, I mean, I was ready, or you know, family was expecting me to get married.
Was the pressure was being applied?
Yes.
Now, had you kind of kicked that can down the road as much as you could
No,
at that point, or
no,
they were like, no, 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 go do your thing, but when it's time,
no. I think, you know, I was expecting it.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was younger back then, so that's all I knew. Is like, okay, you know, I'm gonna.
Is there a certain age where they're like, when you're 22, this is what happens,
I
or
think once you're settled in life, you got a good job, you're earning. It's like next step,
because
get married.
does that make you a more like a better product, if you will? Like you said, you're settled, you have a job, you're making money now. Because I don't know how the arrangement, but it's like shopping around. It's like, you know, these are options for if you're a man, these are the options of women, and if you're a woman, these are the options of men. Or is it like the moms are like, we're combining our families? I only know what I've seen in like weird shows and movies, and so how does it actually work?
It's changed a lot since I went through it, but um, I had just accepted it, and so I would go back to visit family back in England. This is early '90s, and you know, my mum would be like, "Hey, I've got a girl for you. We're gonna go visit the family tonight. So we'll see if you know, like the girl."
And so you did have choice.
Yeah,
Okay. So you did come down to like, do these two actually like each other?
it was not kind of just literally turning up on the wedding day. It's like you marrying this person, so it's not.
It wasn't that forced. It wasn't that.
No.
Okay.
No,
So
no.
it was like, here's an
Yeah.
option. We think she's a good option.
Mm-hmm.
We want you to meet the family. We're
yeah.
going to go meet the family.
Yeah.
The family's a good family.
Mm-hmm. It's always about family. It's how, like, do we like the family? Do we mesh with the family, etc. Right? I mean, the girl could be amazing, but family's full of crazies,
Okay.
you know. Or you could have a great family and the girl's a little bit crazy. You know, so it'd be like, no, we love the family, and the girl, she's okay.
Yeah.
You know, and like, no. So I think I was introduced to two that my mum liked, but she's the one that I was like, yeah, I'm down. And then I would get a phone call. I would go back to Amsterdam, and then I get a phone call. It's like, yeah, there's something putting me off about this family and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, cool.
So mom was still kind of like, I'm not feeling it.
No, but she was the one that was like going like, yeah, this is it. This is the one. We're gonna make it happen. And then, you know, a week later, she's got cold feet. Not me.
That's so funny. And like, how much time would you spend? Because you're literally like, we're gonna go meet this family with the thought of, if this goes well, this is my wife.
Yeah.
And so you would like get one dinner with the family, and then in your mind you're like, sure, yeah, this could work.
Yeah,
I dig it.
because this is not a case of, oh, hey, let's go hang out.
It's not dating.
It's not dating. So
Do you get any time alone to actually get to know each other, or
with the person that I ended up marrying? Yes, I did meet her a couple of times before I got married. So.
How long did that last?
So we were married, I want to say about 12 years.
Okay.
And so
that's
my
a good
kids,
run.
Yeah, so my kids from the first marriage.
Yeah.
You know, my daughter's 25 now. My son's 21. She's going to be 26 in May, and he's going to be 22 in June. My daughter lives with me here, and my son lives with his mom in England, in Rochdale.
And what if you're open with it? I mean, it went from we met the family, you hung out a couple of times, which isn't normal, right? But then now we're planning a wedding. We're having
chaperoned. So when
by,
I said we met,
yeah.
I know meaning other people were there, so
Okay.
I could just like you
but
and
you guys
I talking.
Yeah.
But there's 20 other people
sitting there staring at you talking, or like, nah, we're in a room, we're all hanging out, but like we can actually
half and half.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like you guys really got like do you really get to connect at all? Like without any?
Not really.
So you can't actually have an honest-ish conversation or totally open conversation with each other about the fact that this is all happening.
Correct, yeah.
Because there's still somebody just close enough to...
Yeah, exactly. So it wasn't like you two in another room cuddling or you know...
Well, not even that, but like you can't even totally be like,
yeah,
how much pressure are you getting? I'm getting a lot of pressure. Like,
well, I think it wasn't that kind of pressure though, right? Like I said, I mean, I was, you know, in that position where it was like, okay, you know, you're gonna get married.
This is just how it works.
It's just how it works, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm trying to like be, I don't know if open mind is a thing, but I know my brain is processing this from a very American, like go out and find love, meet people, and da da da, you know. But when it's that normal, when it's just this is just how it goes, then it doesn't feel like there's tons of pressure.
Yeah, and things have changed dramatically since then. You know, where like even like my nephews and nieces that got married, they've found, you know, their own love, and families are fine with that.
Like you're not in any way trying to arrange your kids.
No, hell no. No,
hell
absolutely no. I did not want to be responsible for you know, they have the freedom to, you know, but I think it's a newer generation, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, my father passed away, you know, when I was 16, so you know he wasn't there when I was getting married or anything like that, and so but my parents came from a culture back in, you know, India, Pakistan, where it was custom to your parents going, you're going to marry, you know, your third cousin or your next door neighbor or your friend's daughter or wife or whatever. In some cases, they're already promised at a young age.
Right.
Your daughter, my son.
Yeah, I know they're 8. I know they're 8 now, but
yeah.
In 6
because
years,
we're best buddies.
Yeah,
and
our families would be stronger if we joined.
We got, you know, and that was it. And of course, that culture, you know, living in Western countries and stuff, you know, we're being raised in, you know, the kids are being raised in a Western culture where it's just like, yeah, you go out, you have your freedom, etc. And so it's kind of like, no, I'm going to date who I want to date, and I will marry who I want to marry.
Yeah. I wonder which marriages are happier and last longer. Like, I mean, you guys were 12 years. Did you must have gotten along. Did you enjoy or not?
So it's,
I mean, relationships are hard when you choose the person.
Yeah.
Let alone when you don't.
I mean, there is pressure from the culture and the families and stuff to make it work. You know, in Western countries or Western culture, it's basically he's being an asshole, she's being a bitch, I'm done.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, in other cultures, you know, like mine, where it was more the meetings of the family. Like, what's going on? what can we do to fix
The
this?
family was involved.
Yeah. So it's like you go to therapy to figure
Yeah.
out family or the problems,
Yeah.
whereas we go therapy with the whole family there, say, so what's up? Is like, well, it's just like, well, is like, you can figure this out. Maybe you guys need to have kids. That will bring you guys together. That will make you bond more and stuff. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So so
But where the
so.
problem, you've experienced both versions
Mm-hmm.
at this point. So like, were the problems like, is it still like he's kind of an insensitive asshole, and sometimes she's nagging at me and bitching,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the same problem then as when you chose yourself.
Yep.
But like the family's like, is it just like you'll figure it out? Just is it just
Yeah.
like kicking the can down the road of like, this is marriage, you'll figure it
Mm-hmm.
out. You just
Yeah, but as I was saying earlier, it's marriage is not a marriage between just two people. It's families,
it is the
right?
families.
So when it comes to things ending, it's also a a separation of families. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
there's much more at stake, and so there's more things involved. So it's not just kind of like, okay, we're gonna call it quits,
Yeah.
because again, in our culture, it's all about um, reputation and what are people gonna think,
Right.
and so stuff like that. So you had to like really think about it. So
When you guys decided to split, what was like? Was your family and her family intertwined at that point? Like, was it all of a sudden like, no, like now we're doing the get-togethers are both of our families, the holidays or the what, like the meals on Sundays or whatever the day, was that always like once you guys were joined, like that was now a combined thing?
um
And even if it's not in your specific situation, was it did a
yeah,
lot of the cult? That's how the culture
that's how the
worked,
culture is. I mean, you coming over for dinner
and it's the
frequently. Yeah,
families.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's the families, and and again, I'm talking from back when I was younger. I mean, things have changed over time, but I'm sure it's still is common. But when a guy gets married, the wife comes and lives with him, typically at the parents' house. And so as long as there's space and stuff.
mm-hmm.
So when I got married, um, you know, in Rochdale, in England, and my then wife came and lived with myself and with my mom, and I think my middle brother was also living with us with his family.
Now at this point, you had a job, like a career,
Oh yeah, I quit that in Holland
to go get married.
to go back to England. Yeah, the job in Amsterdam, the company got bought out by some other bigger company, and so we had to relocate to the other side um, of Holland, and I was just not feeling it. So
Mm-hmm.
at that time, I was getting the pressure to get married, and so I ended up quitting that job and going back to England. Got married, and then you know
Were you working?
I think I was contracting at the time, writing manuals for
Mm-hmm.
other things, not just planes
Gotcha.
at that point. And so again, this is back in '95, I want to say, and I was like, damn, I'm back in England. I need to get out. And so at that
But now
point,
you're married.
and now I'm married. And so at that point, I started looking again classifieds in a physical newspaper,
Right.
not online.
Right.
There was no Monster or Indeed
Yeah.
or LinkedIn or anything like that. And so I saw a 3-month contract to write manuals for some American company, uh, but it would be based in Barcelona, Spain. I applied, and got shortlisted. And next thing I know, I'm getting offered the 3-month contract. And so,
how's your wife and your new wife feel about this?
um,
Like, were you guys did she want to see the world? Did she?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And but again, it would give us freedom to live our lives because we were
Right.
living in England
With your mom
Yeah.
and your brother.
Yeah. And so it was great. I was like, perfect. It's November, I think at that point. It's like rainy, cold, which is always in England anyway. But I was like, we're going to be in Spain. It's going to be nice weather and
Yeah.
everything. It's going to be like a 3-month vacation. And so the 3 months became another 3 months because they extended the contract. And then, the person that hired me, he ended up quitting. And so the company basically opened up that position, asked me to apply for
So
it.
now you got a promotion.
So basically, they gave me his job. Yeah. So I became from a contractor to a permanent employee.
And then how long did Spain last?
12 years.
So that's mainly where you guys were for when you
Yeah.
were together.
Yeah. And so, the company that I was working for in Spain, they sent me over to the US to launch a new product. And that
What
was
kind of product?
so I work for HP, Hewlett Packard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I work on the printing side, not the small printers, but the big printers. So stuff like
Yeah,
this.
like massive. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, we can print from anywhere from small posters to
Walls.
wall
Yeah.
coverings, building coverings, for example, right? So everything in between. And so at that point, there were some difficulties in the marriage and stuff, and I just needed, a break from that basically. And so I the boss approached me and goes like, "Hey, we've got a 6-month assignment. You'll be covering all of Americas, based in San Diego, all expense paid."
Yeah.
Right? And I was like, "Where do I sign up?" And so off I go. I come to San Diego for 6 months, and
Without your wife.
without my wife. Yeah.
By design.
Yeah.
In the sense, like you were
Yeah.
like, we are at each other. This already isn't work. Like did you see the writing? Like this isn't working. And she knew it too.
Yeah. And again, so being in Europe and stuff, there was again a lot of family pressure and stuff.
Mhm.
So having that opportunity to come out here and
The farther you could get away from the pressure.
yeah. And so I came out here and
Did she fight you on that?
on
You going somewhere for 6 months? Like was
oh,
she
no,
was she wanting out too? Was it a mutual, or was it like the pressure on that side? I feel like I'm making you uncomfortable. But like
No,
was it
it's
kind of
fine.
a mutual situation of like, well, there's 12 years, our kids are getting bigger, like this isn't, we don't want this, and she's like, yeah, go to San Diego.
So
Or was you like, this is my chance?
I was a different person at the time, right? So I've changed a lot over the past, 20 years,
Mhm.
15 years. I would say even the past year or two. Like I've healed a lot. I've grown a lot, and tried to look back on my life in terms of decisions I've made. And of course, I could have made a lot of decisions in different ways.
Yeah.
And so, just to kind of summarize, the question that you asked, it was basically, I thought about myself,
Mm-hmm.
which not probably wasn't the right thing to do. And so I know I was selfish, so I only thought about myself and not the consequences that it would have, on the other relationships, including with my kids. And so, I came out for 6 months. The 6 months, again, it always happens. The 6 months, and were coming to a close, and they extended it by another 6 months. And it wasn't just covering the U.S., it was covering all of the Americas. I speak Spanish as well, so I was traveling, from Canada down to Argentina, meeting with customers and partners and stuff like that. And after a year, I could only stay a maximum on that assignment in the U.S. And so after a year, I would have to go back to to Spain, back to my old position. And the U.S. team here was like, we want to keep you here.
And you were liking it?
Yeah.
You liked the job, you liked the location.
It was always my dream to come to America and live here.
Why is that? When you say it was always your dream, when did that actually start? And what was it? What were you learning or hearing about, or like what was that? Because I think for a lot of Americans, a lot of the world looks at America, especially I think before and even now, of like this amazing place where whether it's freedom and opportunity and whatever. But like, when did that start for you? Like what were you seeing or hearing that was planting that seed of like, that's the goal?
I mean, first of all, I just wanted to travel the world.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to live in different places, and I still want to do that. But growing up, coming from Pakistan, we didn't have much. I didn't have toys. I didn't have pocket money. Came from a poor family. Like I said, my father passed away when I was like 16. He was super young. He was 48 years old.
Wow.
He passed away from a heart attack.
And what did your mom do to support the fam?
Sew clothes. So she was clothes manufacturing,
Mm-hmm.
just sewing clothes, and that's it. Minimum wage back in England, supporting 4 kids.
Wow.
And so, I was always stuck in my bedroom, listening to music, making mixtapes, back when there were cassettes, listening to the top 40 and all of that, British music, a lot of British music, some American music. But I had this huge poster of the skyline of New York with the Twin Towers and everything, right? Yeah. And so I had that up, and I was like, my dream was like, one day I am going to go to New York, and I'm going to that same spot, and I'm going to take that same photo,
mm-hmm.
and I'm going to have that poster on my wall, but it's going to be my photo.
Yeah.
And so it was that. Right, New York. I mean, and watching the streets of San Francisco and the movies from the U.S. Right, and just all the American movies and the TV shows, and so it was just that. It was like, yeah, someday I'll go to America and visit it, and I always dreamed about like, oh yeah, imagine living in New York and having that as your view from your window, you know. And so that was it. It was just like, oh, it'd be an amazing place to live. But San Diego, I had been, so I moved out here, or I started my assignment, 2007.
Mm-hmm.
I would say like May, June timeframe, 2007. I had been to San Diego prior to that, maybe half a dozen times. And flying into San Diego, that airport over the city, you see the skyline,
the water.
And I'm just like, wow, this is an amazing place. It's like, if I moved to the U.S., San Diego would be an amazing place to live, right? Little did I know that my boss coming to me and saying, you want to go live in San Diego for 6 months, even though I traveled a lot, right? I was probably traveling a good 3 weeks out of a month.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Like for the work, you mean? For the work. Yeah. Right. But it's also taking you, like you said, Argentina, Canada. And as somebody that wants to travel, what a gig.
I've been,
because it's all paid for. Yeah. You got a car, you got a hotel, the food's covered.
Yep. Yeah. I've been to like Brazil, Argentina, Machu Picchu. I got to see Machu Picchu with the company, all over Mexico, Colombia, Ecuador as well. Been to the equator.
Yeah.
I've been to Dominican Republic.
And I'm guessing if you're doing all that and you're keeping you on, you're good at your job. You enjoy your job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
I've been with the company almost 30 years now.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You don't hear that much anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the company's been great to me. I mean, I've traveled around the world, and they've given me the opportunity to live out here, and so that they've been pretty loyal to me, and so I've been loyal to them. You always think like the grass is always greener on the other side.
It's culturally, it's amazing how much it's changed. Where it's like now people see it and are like, I got to do a year to 2 years here, and then I'll be able to apply for more money in a different job over here, and I can just bounce this thing. Where my parents' generation was like, no, you work somewhere for 20 to 30 years, and you got a retirement. Which that's the other thing is like retirements aren't a thing anymore.
Yeah.
And you got a retirement and a gold watch when you retired. And you were proud, it was very much like a loyalty to the company and the thing. And so it's interesting because you don't hear that much. So you're here for 6 months. You get, hey, we want you for another 6 months. And you phone your wife back in Spain. You're like, hey, they want me to stay. And she says,
well, again, going back to being selfish,
right.
It was more like this is what I'm doing.
doing this.
Yeah. And but that was kind of the end of the, coming to the end of the marriage.
Yeah.
It was basically separation. So when I was out here, it was basically separation. And yeah.
What'd your mom say during this? What was your mom's take when you're like, what do you mean you're going to San Diego for 6 months?
So there was a period where I didn't speak to her.
Because she wasn't happy,
because,
and you didn't want to hear.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it would have been a lot of pressure, and it's
just easier.
Yeah. It was just easier just to disconnect from that and live my life the way I wanted to live it, and that's it.
Yeah, in college I didn't speak to my dad for about a year and a half, and it was just like pressure shit, and this every phone call was about how I wasn't doing it right. So I get that.
Oh yeah, my mom was not a warrior, but a worrier. Right?
Yeah,
she might have been a warrior as well, but yeah. I mean, our phone calls would always be like, you doing okay? And I would like, we were talking Punjabi. So I was born in the province of Punjab in Pakistan. So we have the provincial language and we have the national language, which is Urdu. And so I can read and write Urdu, read, write, and speak Urdu. And Punjabi, we mainly just talked it at home. I didn't learn how to read or write it. I think it's written differently as well. And so I would talk to my mom in Punjabi. She didn't speak English. For all those years living in England, she understood the basics, but
also her circle allowed her to just exist without.
Yeah, exactly. And so, yes in Punjabi is Hanji. And so, I would get a phone call sometimes at work back in the day when there was a phone in the office, and it was like, Kash, you got a phone call, and you go there and everybody can hear you. And mom's going like, how you doing okay? I'm like, Hanji. It's like, have you been eating good? And you're like, Hanji. You're keeping safe and everything, keeping out of trouble.
Hanji,
staying away from Hanji.
So the whole office is like, what is this phone call?
Yeah, and they were like, who the hell is this Angie girl that you talk? It's like,
she never stops. You can't get a word in edgewise. He's trying to say her.
Yeah, they all thought I had a girlfriend called Angie. I was like, hey, so when are we going to meet this Angie?
Yeah.
So I had a fake girlfriend for 6 months. No, I mean, that was our conversations. But because if I told her anything, she would just be like, oh, that doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
Oh.
Did she think everything was fine? You just happened to get this great opportunity? Or did she know there were problems at home? Or was it like, it's just easier to not let her in on any of that?
Well, I mean, prior to that, years prior to that, I mean, there were a couple of times when we were close to ending things and family pressure put it back together. And that's a reason why I just...
Put it back together or forced it back? Like,
whatever words you want to use.
Okay. Because again, we never solved the problems.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And again, it was a different me, different time. And
I feel like I've had 2 marriages. You've had 2. You've had 3.
correct.
You've had
2.
Because I know anytime we do a show together, and I do that one joke, you're the one guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 right here. But it is funny how I can look back at my first marriage as, however more evolved in the work I've done and whatever now, and I can look at it and be like, we probably could have, if I would have been less scared, if I would have been a better communicator, if I would have been more open and listened, you know what? We probably could have solved some of that.
Yeah.
We really could have. But in the moment, I thought I was doing everything I could. I don't understand why you're so angry at me.
Yeah.
And so it is interesting to look back and realize like how far you have come, because now you can look and be like, oh wow, I was barely aware.
No, I mean, like I said, a younger me was a completely different person. Is like.
Did you like that person?
Yeah.
In the moment.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I mean she was a great person.
No, not her. You. Did you like you?
Like looking back now?
Let's say both. Looking back now, did you like who you were then? And not like, saying, I can look back now and be like, there were some parts of me that were great and some parts of me that I definitely didn't like. And the truth is, it was most of that behavior was fear and insecurity out of myself. Right. But I also know at the time, my internal voice wasn't very positive.
Yeah. No, I agree. I was similar to that. For me, it was a lot of, growing up in a society where, you're living in a Western country, England, going to an English school. And so I'm being exposed to both Western and Eastern culture, right? So, I'm coming home from school, learning all this Western stuff,
right?
Speaking English, hanging out with white, brown, whatever colored friends, and
boys and girls.
So
you're meeting girls. When you're in high school, you had to like some
girls. I had crushes and stuff, but
you weren't allowed to act on any of that. Or what was the culture there? Like, could you date in high school? Like, could you have brought home a British white girl?
No.
Oh, okay.
Hell no.
Okay.
So we can get sidetracked quite a bit, but you got to remember this is back in the 80s, right? Going to school and stuff, and so the 80s in England was not a great place for me, because you walk the streets and you basically had I had white friends. But there were more right wing English white people would kind of look at you and go like, you Paki, go back to your own country. And so interracial relationships were very, very rare. So being seen out with a white girl, like, you would get looks from my side.
Right. Nobody wanted this. Nobody thought this was good.
And the white communities would look at you and look at her going like, what are you doing with a Paki? So it's like, now it's common, right? Here, there, everywhere, it's common to see interracial. But back in my day, it was not. So I'm just trying to like frame the mindset that I was in, was kind of like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have an arranged marriage because I can't date white girls, and I can't openly date Pakistani girls
because that's not allowed either.
Because when it's
time for that, we'll tell you.
Yeah, exactly. Because every move is controlled. Is kind of like, where are you going? What are you doing? It wasn't kind of like,
Right.
where are you going to meet? I didn't drive. They didn't drive or anything
Yeah.
like that. And so it's like, where are you going to meet? Where you're not going to get caught? Because everybody knew everybody as well.
What
In
kind of
the
trouble were you getting up to in high school? Like, what were you like? What was like you're in the 80s in England, running around with, like you said, like whites. I mean, the full spectrum of people. What kind of kid were you? What were you guys getting up to? Where were you on a Friday night in England with your friends in the 80s? Were you drinking? Were you smoking cigarettes somewhere? Were there drugs back then? Like, was it?
So back to my mom being a warrior,
Yeah.
right? Like, she could not go to sleep. She could not go to bed unless all of her kids were at home,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so, like, we were all at home by 9 o'clock, whatever. So, so after school, we went to mosque. I was raised as a Muslim, so we went to mosque 2 hours a day. So after school, after all day
Straight to
school,
mosque.
go home, eat, go to mosque, right? And after mosque, 7 o'clock, nights were long, especially in the summer. It got dark at like 10 o'clock at night. So after mosque, we would go and kick the ball around, play soccer, football, or play cricket, or we made our own games,
Right.
and we would play until it started getting dark, and then we would come home, right? But then, of course, once I became legal age, drinking age,
Which was 18. then,
18,
right?
that's when I was already working at British Aerospace, starting my apprenticeship, and now I'm in a completely white environment. I was the only brown person there, basically, in that company. Maybe there was a couple of other people,
Yeah.
right? And now I was getting hit on by the ladies, But I mean, first of all, I was shy back then, so I didn't know what to do. But I was just like somebody flirting at me, and they was like, "Oh, they're just being nice," and it's like,
Yeah.
and so.
And now you look back and you're like,
Oh
oh
yeah,
my
yeah.
God!
Oh my god, yeah. And I'm telling you, it's like there was two. There was the engineering side of the apprenticeship, and then there was the office side. So then you had, people that wanted to be more like engineers, the designers, and then they had the office environment,
Right, the
where like
administrative
side. So they had interns or apprentice for those as well. And so we co-mingled. There were parties and stuff like that, or gatherings, and so I'd be in their circle or whatever, and I would, but I couldn't do it. What was I going to do? I couldn't take them back home. I was like,
'Cause
I
you're
didn't have
living
a
at
car.
home.
Yeah, I was living at home, and so, the going out at night was tricky because, again, like my mom would go like, "Where are you going after 10 o'clock? What is there to do outside of the
But meanwhile,
home?"
don't you have friends that are like, we're going to go to the pub. We're hanging out at the pub and
Of
having
course.
some drink.
Yeah,
And
but
how is drinking viewed?
No, but that's what I'm saying. Is like my mom basically after 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, once it got dark, she goes, "What is there to do?" Of course, it's.
But when you tell her, my friends are all at the pub, what does that mean to her? And what is her reaction to that?
She goes like, "God forbid! Oh my God! Let them go do whatever they're doing. Don't you get involved in that." So it wasn't kind of like, "Oh, I'm going for a drink."
Culturally, how was drinking viewed? It's not a thing.
No, it's completely not allowed.
Okay. So in her, so that's literally blasphemy. Like that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So no, you shouldn't go with those. You shouldn't even be friends with those people. Your friends do these things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so
So were you living a double life? Like, was there kind of like this
Of
double?
course. Yes.
I mean, I think we all do in some fashion, but this seems deeper.
Oh
Okay,
yeah,
go on.
no,
Go
no.
on.
I mean, oh my God, yeah. I was even like when I lived in Amsterdam, where like from 21 till 24, 25 when I got married. I mean, yeah, living complete, going
Nothing
out.
you could share with the family.
No, exactly. And so when I would go back to England to visit a family, I was the good boy sitting at home, not going out.
We're so proud of him. He has this wonderful
Oh,
job in
yeah,
Amsterdam. He's
yeah.
a
Like
good
nothing,
Muslim.
nothing,
He's
nothing. Yeah. And so, like at 18, I would basically wait until my mom went to sleep. Then I think used to sleep downstairs on like because I think I'm trying to remember why I used to sleep downstairs, but I used to sleep downstairs, and so I'd wait till my mom went to sleep. I would go upstairs, get changed, or grab my clothes, go back downstairs, change, do my hair and stuff,
yeah.
and then just wait until like no creaking because you could hear every creak,
Yeah.
right? And so it was like, okay, mom's asleep. I would sneak out of the back door, and even then the creaks and stuff.
Yeah, you're doing everything super
and so,
slow.
it was a 2-story house. So I would look up at the window, lights are still off, close the door. And then my friend, again, this is before cell phones or anything. So when you made plans to meet your friend at 10:30 on the corner behind your house, if abort, there's no way of aborting.
Yeah, there's no abort.
Right?
Your friend's standing there till 10:45, and he's like, I guess he's not coming.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah.
Exactly. And so, 10:30, sneak out of the house, and we would go. And then the pubs would close at 2. And then, I would come
Sneak
home.
back in.
And then, so, it was like, I would always look, the light's still off. And then I would sneak.
Was the light ever on? Did you ever come home and she was sitting in the, like...
No.
She came down to
she,
check or something?
No, but she caught me, the time that she did catch me was... did the whole thing, got my clothes, went downstairs, got all dolled up, shoes on, hair done, and suddenly, and it was winter, and I had the fireplace on or the heater on, but I had I was ready to leave, and so the door was open, and I heard the creaking of the staircase. I'm like, oh, fuck. And so I'm like, I don't have time to rip the clothes off and put my PJs back on or anything. So I literally, lights are on, doors are open, fire's burning, and I just get under the cover with all my clothes on, with my shoes on and everything. And she comes down and she goes, son, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. And she goes, you got the heater on, but then you got the door open to let the breeze in. I was like, yeah, and it's just like, and she's like, what are you hiding? She just pulls back.
And you're just dolled up.
Yeah, I'm just dolled up. She goes like, what are you doing? And
you acted like this had never happened before.
Yeah,
this is the first time.
Yeah, exactly.
I was going to meet my friends. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, where are you going at this time of night? Where would you be going? I was like, I was going to go to the movies with my friend. He's waiting for me. And she goes, movies at this time of night? What movie are you going watching? I was like, oh. And he goes like, well, why didn't you tell me? I was like, yeah, because you'd worry and all of that kind of stuff, And so, I got it.
Did she buy it?
She bought it. And then
Did you go?
No, no, didn't go.
Checking?
Yeah, and then the next time I saw my friend, he goes like, "Yeah, I gave you like 15 minutes," and then I left. But that was the only time that I got caught. And then of course I paused my missions for the next month or two, just to be safe. And then I think she went to Pakistan for like 2 or 3 months.
Oh, game on.
Yeah. And maybe a month or two. I think my middle brother was getting married, arranged marriage in Pakistan.
How many siblings do you have?
I have 2 brothers and 1 sister, and they're all older, married with kids.
They're all older than you. You were the youngest?
I'm the baby. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They've all got kids as well. some of the kids have already had that. They're already grandparents. Not
How
my
much older are they? Like, what's the spread?
um
Like, what the next?
six. The next one up is 3 years, and then my sister's 4 years older than me, and then my oldest brother is 6 years older than
Gotcha. Okay.
me. Yeah.
So 3 years. So
Yeah,
like,
and they're all well. My middle brother is about to be a grandparent. My
Mhm.
niece is about to have a baby in the next week or two.
wow.
My sister is already a grandmother like 5 times now.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So your next brother up, 3 years is far enough apart that it wasn't like you guys were running around together too much.
No.
Was he now like looking up at them? Were they sneaking out? Were they doing that, or was it like they were the times themselves? They were closer to the culture where you were more exposed to the Western culture. Like,
No, they got up to stuff.
okay, so they were doing it too.
Oh,
They
yeah,
were. Is that something that you could like confide in each other and talk about, like
No.
this double?
No, because like when my oldest brother, when he was 18 and getting up to mischief and stuff, I was 12.
Right.
So I was a youngster, and so he was dating and.
But your next brother, he was you were 15 when he was 18, so you're both in high school ish.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he used to get up to, but he was the mischievous one, that's for sure.
Gotcha.
He was the mischievous one. And then I know my sister also was up to stuff as well because, again, because I was the baby,
Yeah.
they never told me anything. Yeah, because I remember even my sister was, I can't remember what she was up to, but she ran away from home. I think she had a boyfriend, and the parents didn't approve, so she ran away from home.
How old was she when it's like?
Man, my dad was still alive then, so I must have been. Yeah, she must have been like 16.
Wow. So that's a bit. I mean,
16,
that's
17,
a
yeah.
big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, in my culture, yeah.
that's what I mean. Yeah,
Yeah,
culture,
yeah.
like that's
Yeah.
a huge no. Like,
Mhm.
and then how
Yeah.
long was she gone for? How long did she run, or was she like
Only
from that point?
only a couple of days. But again, nobody
Okay.
nobody told me anything. Nobody
So you
told
just
me.
didn't know why your sister wasn't there.
I suspected.
Okay.
I suspected that she wasn't there, and the parents were frantic and didn't know where she was. So, as I got older, I was like, kind of like, I guess that's what was going on, kind of stuff.
And then 3 days later, she was back.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know how, like, I'm trying to figure out what the question I'm about to ask is. When you say like you weren't told anything, was family business discussed in any way? Did you have any idea what was happening with your parents, with money, with business, with anything?
Oh no.
It was
No.
okay.
No. No, like my father didn't work because when he came from Pakistan to England, he was educated, he was a school teacher back in Pakistan, and so going back a little bit on that story was because India and Pakistan was ex-colonies of England. We were the Mexicans of England.
Okay.
Right, where they needed the labor, right? They needed people to come over, do the jobs that the locals didn't want to do, etc. Right, and so working in mills or in the factories and stuff like that. The north of England, big industrial, a lot of industrial companies, etc. And so, because my dad was more educated, spoke great English, he was the one that was helping a lot of people, apply for their visas and applications and stuff like that, because he knew the ins and outs and stuff. And so he was a supervisor in one of the factories. But he had heart problems and stuff like that, so he was diagnosed with like heart problems in late 70s. So he was probably like late 30s, early 40s when he was diagnosed with heart problems.
Mm-hmm.
So anything could trigger a heart attack, like just stress.
Yeah.
Boom. He like, Dad, you okay? Nope. He would hold his and back then, used to have small little tablets just to like help with that and
Yeah.
stuff. Um, so he stopped working because of his condition, and so my mom was the breadwinner,
Wow.
and so she was the one that was really supporting the family and stuff like that. But thankfully, again, England, it's the public health care, education, all of that. So there wasn't that financial burden, having my dad ill and having to go to the hospital and all of that, didn't cost us anything. So there wasn't kind of like, oh, half of my mom's salary was going
Mm-hmm.
to, health issues
Right.
and stuff, right? So it was just basically food and the bills, basically. And we made lentils and rice
A lot.
a lot, yeah, or curries and stuff,
Mhm.
and make a big batch and feed the whole family, and it was easy peasy.
Easy peasy. All right. So then we'll jump back ahead. So now you're in San Diego. 6 months turns into 12 months. You're traveling all the Americas.
Mm-hmm.
Your marriage comes to an end.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're a free man
Mm-hmm.
in America.
Yeah.
What's that? And that was like 2007, I think you said.
Yeah, I mean, now I get the permanent position in the US. Now it's like end of 2008, beginning of 2009. And then I was traveling a lot, working a lot. Um, working on getting my green card as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I went through all that process. That was interesting. And then I filed for divorce. That was a tricky tricky situation because we were married in England. We lived in Spain, and then I had come over here, and my ex was still living in Spain, and so filing for divorce, I can't file for divorce in U.S. courts.
Right.
And
I mean, technically English courts, right? Because that's
correct.
where the marriage license is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but neither one of us was living in England.
Right.
Right. So that was a bit of a challenge, but I finally, found a way because both of us or one of us had to be living in England for a period of time for one of us to be able to apply for divorce in England.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I finally, I can't remember how I did it, but finally, managed to get I mean, at the time, I wasn't really in a hurry because I was just like, you know what? I don't think I want to get married again. And so I think I did get into a relationship where that person was kind of like, because I was open. I was like, I'm not married, but I'm not legally divorced, right?
Right. There's some paperwork, but we're not together.
Yeah, because I would do it tomorrow if it was easier, but and so she wasn't having it. She was just like, and so even though we continued dating, in the end, when we broke up, I still hadn't done the paperwork or anything, but we broke up, and then it was just a point where I go, you know what, I'm going to do it for myself and for my ex, just get that closure.
Yeah.
Not in a relationship now, so there's no pressure going, I'm doing it for whatever, right? And so I dug through. Google was my friend, online stuff, and
got it done.
Yeah, I got it done, got it issued. So so I was a completely free man then.
And then how long until you did it again?
Probably a year later.
Yeah.
Yeah. we met through mutual friends, and we started dating, and we dated probably for a year and a half, and we ended up buying a house together
Mm-hmm.
and proposed on Catalina Island.
That's pretty.
Yeah. And then we got married in Vegas. So so the contrast from the first marriage, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Big contrast.
no, in terms of like the first marriage, the party, the wedding reception, and everything. This is back in 1995, and in our culture, you just invite everybody and their dog, basically,
Mhm.
right? Is like
And how big is the wedding? Like, how big is a Pakistani wedding? Like, is it
it
it one evening? Is it all day? Is it
basically 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. Now it's more elaborate, right? Now people book out a hall, they have parties, they have a
Mhm.
DJ, and they have, smaller sittings, and with waiters and all of that, right? When I got married, it was basically you hire a Pakistani chef, right?
Mhm.
And these pans, these pots and pans are so big, and this guy is cooking for 1,000 people.
1,000 people?
Yeah, we probably had, I want to say between 900 and
That's
1,000 people.
huge.
Yeah, there was 4 sittings. So it wasn't.
When you say sittings, you mean like the first group has dinner and that's the first sitting?
They get fed.
They get fed.
Yeah, they get fed.
And then those people get up, we clear the tables, reset, the next group is fed.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
4 sitting. Okay.
Yeah. And the people laying out the food and cleaning and everything are all friends and relatives of the family.
Everyone's chipping in.
Everybody's chipping in.
Okay.
There's no waiters hired. There's
Yeah.
none of that. And so
And where is this happening?
in Manchester.
But like at a convention center, at the mosque, at the what?
No, a hall,
Okay.
community hall
Got it.
that they rent out.
Mhm.
Okay, and so basically, the vows are done, separately. Do you marry that woman on the other side of the hall? Yes. Do you marry the man on the other side?
Separately?
Yes.
You're not
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And then once you say yes, and then you get to
And you
go,
get to walk towards each other and
No, I go to
her?
the women's side. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then
the men and the women are separate
Yeah.
for the party.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now it's different.
Right.
Now everybody's
Yeah.
mixed in and stuff. But it was a huge wedding. So going back to my second wedding,
You were like
Vegas,
Yeah.
Chapel of the Flowers,
just the two of you?
and 4 friends.
Okay.
So there was 6 of us. Picked the venue, paid for it. I was a photographer at my own wedding, so I was taking photos of during the vows and everything. The chapel took the photos
Mhm.
and stuff, but then the photo shoot afterwards at Bellagio. I was the one taking photos of the friends and of my wife and then handing the camera over to somebody, all focused.
Right.
Just
You took
press this
you
button,
set it
just-
up. You said
yeah.
just take it. This is
Just
what I
press this
wanted.
button,
Yeah.
And then I did all the editing and cropping of the photos and making them look
Yeah.
nice and stuff. And then our wedding reception was at the Eiffel Tower at the Paris Hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just like a nice dinner,
Yeah.
nice little party for the 6 of you.
Yeah, $1,000 for dinner, champagne, whatever. Done. Reception. That's it. No need to spend 50 grand on
No.
anything elaborate.
No. And then how long did that marriage last?
5 years.
5 years, which
Yeah.
is still a good run.
Yeah. Yeah. Five
And
years.
were you still selfish and
So
like
no. So was I? So it was a blended family. She had 2
Okay.
kids. I've got 2 kids, and it was just the dynamics. I want to say the dynamics with the kids and stuff like that. And so it just got to a point where like I was working a lot, I was traveling a lot, And it just got to a point where it was another Sunday having breakfast, and I'm like, okay, family, I'm making breakfast, and then always, somebody's talking back to me, and I'm just like, you know what, I'm done. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I was like, I don't do anything for. I work, I travel,
And then I cook breakfast and people are rude to me.
yeah, and I'm like, I want to do something for myself. I don't have a passion. I don't have a hobby. I don't do anything after work. And
What was her response to that?
No, she didn't want to end it. We talked, and I basically said, like, let's sit down as a family, and there's no finger pointing or anything, right? Just let's have a conversation about what we want from the family and what we're willing to bring to the table for the family. Okay, and that's it. It's just like, you don't let me do this, you don't let me do that, or you're always doing this. It's like, no, we don't want any of that, right? We just sit down and go like, you know what, I would like to play my video games for 2 hours, and I'm
And
willing.
these are the kids. These
Yeah,
are the kids.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
This and that's and the
And-
fact
and-
that you
but-
opened
but
it up
the
to
adult-
everybody.
but the adults as well. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
But and I'm guessing these are teenage kids.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And and saying, if you let me play the video games for 2 hours, I'll contribute by taking the trash out or
Yeah.
doing the dishes or whatever. And we had a friend to kind of mediate, and so I talked with that friend, and she loved the idea. She talked to my then wife, and she loved the idea. And then the kids didn't agree to anything, and so we were trying to salvage the marriage.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like it. And the fact that you guys were on the same page of like, yeah, let's talk. Let's sit the family down. And what was the kids' biggest gripes? What was their issues? Like, why? What?
Oh, they just didn't want to make the effort. They
Of
just
any
didn't-
kind.
Yeah. And like me and my ex, we didn't want to get a divorce because, like, we even sat down, and she was saying, "I know this is a crazy idea, but how about we stay married, but we live completely separate lives, right?" Because my daughter had come to live with us as well, like 2 years or so before we ended things, and it was like, live separate lives, stay married. We can continue like having our life together, dating, hanging out, whatever,
With each other.
but we
let
live a
the
separate
kids the things
until
that
they'll eventually grow up
Yeah.
and go off to college and have their life, and then we can back together
Wow.
again.
that's pretty open minded. That's a
Yeah.
pretty like hey, we like this.
Yeah.
These assholes
Yeah.
are here for a few more years. And that seems to be
Yeah.
putting a lot of the pressure and the whatever the
Yeah.
energy and the stuff. That's wow. But did you try it? Were you open to it? What was
The kids weren't having any of it, so we did end things, and I started applying for divorce. We immediately sold our house, which in hindsight,
yeah.
right? Let's not go into that. But as soon as we sold the house, my ex called me up, and she was just like, "Hey, I don't want this to end. How about we give it a go?" And so, I guess I'm a people pleaser.
Yeah.
Back to why I agreed to get married during the first time I got married and continued staying in that marriage. It's just, I'm just like not a don't like confrontation.
Not confrontational. Yeah.
And so, we give it a shot for 2 months, and during those 2 months without the kids and everything,
Like you're just like dating again kind of
yeah,
thing?
we were dating, but then a couple of things that I realized was also like, oh yeah, these are deal breakers. Yeah, I can't go back to that, because during those 2 months when I was back to being single again, is when I started my comedy, because when I said, okay, I'm done with this, I was signing up for a comedy workshop. So
Because again, you had said like, I'm working, I'm on the road, I come home. I don't have passion anymore. I don't have hobbies. I'm not doing anything for myself. And so you started that ball started rolling, and now you're signing up for comedy.
Yeah, I signed up for comedy. And so when we got back together again, I think I had just done my first showcase, after the workshop. And so we dated for 2 months, and I had just started comedy, and I saw these little things, and I was like, I'm willing to give three chances, right? First one happened, we talked it out. Second one happened, talked it out, and then
Will
the
you
third.
Tell me what it is? Can you tell me what one of the things was?
So for me, for example, like, if I piss the person off, tell me. Right? It's like, if I do something to irritate you, like, punch me, slap me, tell me off. Then
Call me
and
out.
there.
Yeah,
Call me out then and there. Talk about it. Et
also,
cetera.
let me know I did it.
Yeah.
Because I probably don't even know. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And so, we I think we were going to go to some party. And so before the party, we went to go have a drink or something somewhere. And, she had something that she needed to do for her business, right? And she just kept putting it off. And finally, we're there having a drink, and she goes like, "Oh, I need to fill out that thing." It's like, "Do you mind helping me with it?" And I go, "Sure." And so she hands me her phone, and I look at it, and like the first couple of things were just her name and stuff, and she hadn't even filled those out. And so jokingly, I was like, I made a joke about that, like, you know your name, right?
Yeah.
And instead of either laughing or just like, stop being silly or whatever,
or saying like, "Hey, just so you know, I'm stressed out right now. I don't want to joke."
Stop being an asshole or whatever.
But are you being an asshole when she hands you, like, you couldn't fill? You want me to do everything? I get it. Yeah.
So I joke about it, and so instead of saying something back, she just grabs a phone and she goes, "Forget about it. I'll do it myself." Right? And so, I'm there, and I'm like, we still got this party to go to, but
at this point in your head, you're like, "Well, tonight's ruined."
I try
on the edge of ruined.
I try to salvage it by, I was like, "Hey, what's wrong?" Nothing. It was just that. It was like nothing until I was just like, and I tried to continue have that time at the bar, but again, now we got a wall.
A wall of nothing.
A wall of nothing, whereas now she's not talking to me. I was like, "Hey, come on, we got the party to go to. I'm sorry if I said something to upset you. Let me help you with that. I was just joking. Like, slap me back, whatever, punch me, just like scold me, whatever, something out of you, and get it out of your system, and then we can move on." And no. And I was like, "You know what? We're done. Like, can you?" I think she had driven us. I was like, "Can you just drive me home?" She's like, "Oh, you don't want to go to the party?" I was like, "Not if you're going to be like this."
Yeah. Why you?
Yeah. And so she drove me home, and then I got out, and that was it. And it's like, I completely believe like everything happens for a reason. We're here for a purpose. Like, every part of my life, first marriage, second marriage, the way I was raised, etc. Every path, if I didn't get married, for example, if I had said no to my mom, right, even when the discussion had ever come up about arranged marriage, and I wouldn't be sitting here with you.
It is kind of crazy to think back to like everything that happened, as horrible as it was in that moment, or whatever it was, painful, great, good, bad, wherever it was on the scale of life. If all of those things didn't happen, you wouldn't be where you are right now.
Absolutely.
If one little thing was different,
Yep.
it would have been, yeah. Because it's easy to think like, if I would have done that, if I would have found comedy sooner,
Mm-hmm.
if I would have, nope,
Nope.
we wouldn't be where you
Yeah.
are.
No, even selling that house in we used to live in Tierra Santa, and I think about that. I was like, oh, if only I had just kept that whatever, and
You'd be renting it. It'd be cash flow. It'd be worth 3 times as much now or whatever.
well, yeah. I mean, apart from the money side, but even just living there, right? If I had continued living there and like bought my ex out and just continued living there, I maybe would have still done the comedy, but by moving to Mission Valley where I live now, in my complex is where I found the bar where I started producing my first show.
Right.
And that is what really took my like producing side and comedy side off, right? And so living in Tierra Santa, I wouldn't have had seen that opportunity. Maybe other opportunities would have arisen.
Yeah, it would have been different.
Maybe I would have just done a couple of shows and that's it. And now I would still be living in Tierra Santa and
right,
married to somebody else, or
Who knows?
still working and traveling and not having time for any passions or hobbies or whatever. But it's just like everything happens for a reason, and I am like a completely different person now than I was a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
What helped the most? What's made the biggest changes for you?
I mean, comedy definitely has given me a whole different like social life. Like I still have a close group of friends from when I was married or before I was married here in the U.S. But my biggest circle of friends is from
The shows and producing.
not only comics but like friends that have become friends from like audience members or them introducing me to people and just that circle growing, and so I have a really good solid social life of friends, and like comedy keeps me busy. There's like kind of a spiritual aspect as well where a few years ago I was kind of contemplating about life and purpose and all of that, and got introduced actually by my ex-wife, second ex-wife. We kind of, after we divorced finally, etc., we kind of reconnected maybe after a year or so, and she had told me about a spiritual path that she had taken, and so I was interested and kind of got involved with that, with plant medicine and stuff, and I've gone on quite a few journeys with plant medicine, and it's just changed who I am, my life, the healing process, my mindset, mentality, how I deal with things. And the person I am today, taking back to those previous relationships, I would be a completely different person. Maybe I wouldn't even get into those relationships,
right?
Because you see things and you go like, yeah, because I'm not that people pleaser anymore.
Yeah, I definitely feel like I look back at a lot of relationships that lasted however long they lasted, and it's like I was a slalom skier, just hitting all the like red flag right past it, red flag, skiing right past all the flags. And now I'm like, oh, I would actually have recognized those flags now, I feel like, and been like, we're not going to go down this hill.
Yeah.
No,
it's how you deal with things. I mean, again, it's red flag or an argument. And it's just you throw in the towel, or you become defensive rather than listening to the other person, right? When they go like, hey, this really bothers me. And then you become defensive rather than going like, oh, I didn't realize I was doing that.
Yeah.
Let me see what I can do to change that. And for me, it's definitely a two-sided thing, right? Because in my past relationships, it's been that somebody going like, hey, you're being an asshole. It's like, thank you for letting me know. Let me see what I can do about it.
Yeah.
But then you can't always be the asshole.
Yeah.
Right?
And
Sometimes
also it's like, hey, do you my biggest thing is like I drive myself crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So I am sure I'm going to drive somebody else crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But also I'm never, and this is something where I've had it be an issue in relationships and other relationships where it wasn't, but it always was interesting to me of like, you're telling me I'm an asshole and that I always do these things and that there are things like, the hardest part for me is when somebody's like, no, you meant to hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, no, that's not, absolutely not. Like I never mean to hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I ever meant to, like, and I guess it's something that I had to realize, like there are people that do mean to hurt people.
Yeah.
And I definitely come from a whatever my vibe is or whatever of like, oh my God, I hurt you? That's the worst thing. I would never want, you're my fucking person. I never want to hurt you. I'm never intending to hurt you. But then it would get to the point where like, you're telling me what I did.
Mm-hmm.
And you're saying, no, you meant to hurt me. You said that and this is what it meant. And I was like, oh my gosh, I did not mean that. Mm-hmm. Yes, you did. And I'm like, no, I'm telling you. I didn't mean it like that. I understand how you took it, and I am so sorry that it caused you pain. But, like, I did not mean it like that. Mm-hmm. Yes, you did. And I'm like, okay, now I'm stuck. Because now you're telling me, like, I've been told before, like, your intention doesn't matter. It's how I took it. And I'm like, well, that's not how anything works at all. But I've been told that. And then I'm like, and then I'd have these thoughts of, like, why are you here then? If you think I'm capable of that, what are you even doing here? Mm-hmm. And it was always just strange to me where somebody would be like, no, you meant to hurt me. And I'm like, can I please, like, you are with me. Can I get the benefit of the doubt that I'm not here to stab you with dagger? Like, I'm never throwing daggers. I'm an idiot. I'm going to say things that may be hurtful by accident, but I promise you I didn't intend to hurt you.
Yeah. But it's a conversation, right?
Yeah, have it. And like you said, tell me in the moment, hey,
yeah,
you fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be like, oh, shit, I fucked up. And I'll go, I'm really sorry I fucked up. I love you. I didn't mean to fucking do that.
What can I do to make up for it?
My dad had this thing that he did. He passed away before either of my marriages. But he had a thing, I saw him do it to cousins and uncles. And I swear he, like, figured out marriage. And he would I remember the first time I ever saw him do it, he did it to my aunt and uncle at their wedding, like at the reception. And he did it like in front of everybody. It was really cute. But he made them stand in front of each other. He said, this is the secret to marriage. This is all you have to do. He's like, stand there and face each other. I'll make you say it now. And then whenever there's an issue, this is all you do to like fix the problem. And he'd have, turn to my uncle and be like, I want you to look at her and say, I'm sorry. I was wrong. Is there anything I can do to make it up to you? And then he would make my aunt say the exact same thing. He's like, if every time you guys are in a fight or somebody does something wrong, that's what you do, you'll make it. Mm-hmm. And it's so true and yet so hard.
Yeah. But it's also, if you being an idiot doing the same thing, if for example, you even between friends, right? Every time you see your friend, you punch him on the arm, right? Like hard, but a buddy thing, right?
Yeah.
And you just being playful and stuff, right? And the other one is going like, oh, and then eventually one day, they just got a shot or something like that, right?
It's tender.
And you punch it, and they go like, James, dude, you do that every single time. I should have said something. And if you go, you know what? I am so sorry. I wish you had told me sooner.
Yeah,
but now, if you do it again, then you're the arsehole.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
But if I don't know.
Yeah. And so for me, it's like whenever in a relationship or even with friendships, if somebody tells me, it goes like, hey, you are very sarcastic. Like sometimes please tone it down, and I'm like, I didn't realize that, but I'm from England. I'm sorry. I am sarcastic.
Yeah.
But I can see it's bothering you. So
and you're my friend, and I don't want to hurt you. So of course,
or in a relationship, and so I tone it back. And if occasionally it happens, I'm sorry.
Right. But I
But
promise it's on my brain,
yeah,
and I will
yeah,
I
yeah,
will
yeah.
try. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, I used to be so sarcastic when I was younger. That second marriage completely ruined my sarcasm.
It shut it down, you
Oh
mean?
my God, completely.
Because
Yeah.
she wasn't having it?
The family wasn't having it.
Uh,
Too sensitive.
yeah. So now you're running shows. You're single again. You have multiple shows around town.
Hmm.
What's your goal with this? What are you trying to do with comedy? Or is it like it's just something you love to do? You love the people. You love the whole
Yeah.
picture of it. Like, but
I,
like, I mean, you still work, right? You still
oh
have a
yeah, yeah,
job.
yeah. I have my full-time job.
Not traveling as much though.
Not traveling as much now,
Okay.
thankfully. Otherwise,
So
comedy would
right, it'd be
producing
very
comedy
hard.
would be very, very difficult. Um,
But it's like, is your goal to like make a living at this, or is like this is just I
No.
just love doing it,
um,
and why?
yeah. I mean, comedy was one of those like, I love comedy. Loved going to the comedy store and
Mhm.
watching shows in theaters and everything. And it was just like I said, I'm sarcastic. I'm in a group of friends or colleagues. I'm the one that's telling stories where they're just going like, "Oh my God, dude, that's hilarious!" Whether it's
Yeah.
about my marriages or the kids or whatever, and so I would go to shows and go like, I want to get up on stage. I want to do that, but I don't know if I've got the balls to do it.
Yeah.
Right? And so when I finally did the workshop, did the showcase, and did a few shows, it was like, oh my God, I was freaking shaking and sweating and all of that. But once I got up on stage and, within the first 30 seconds, people are laughing and it's like, oh my God, this is a drug. But
Yes.
so within the first few months, I was like, bucket list done. Right. And yeah, the people were telling me, yeah, you got to hit the open mic six times a week, 7 times a week. You got to suck up to producers and clubs and all of that. And I'm like, I don't have time. I have a full-time job. I am traveling.
Right.
This was before
got a kid.
This was before the pandemic. Got a kid, and I don't have time to go hit open mics at midnight and go to sleep and wake up at whatever time
Right.
to work and stuff. And so, producing really helped to give myself stage time and so I just enjoy it. And I started producing because of community, right? I wanted to bring, the community together, people together in places, in bars or whatever, the local community. So they don't need to travel halfway across the city to see a
Yeah.
show, whatever. I'm bringing the comedy to the communities, especially after the pandemic. It really, really helped. And so, that's my focus is like the few venues that I run shows at, they bring the people together, on a Wednesday night or a weekend or whatever, and they come and they have a laugh, and I just love that.
And the crowd, I will say this, your crowds are great. Your shows have one of the biggest like return.
Mm-hmm.
Like those people come, like there's a whole group of people that are like, I know there's a show every Wednesday night. I can't make all of them, but I'm, a lot of them like 2 a month.
Mm-hmm.
They're hitting that Pally Wine show.
Mm-hmm. And not only that, there'll be people that might have been coming to the Pally show, and they'll come to the North Park show or the Santee show. There was this one couple that have become friends. They live in Santee, I think. When I was running 5 shows, when I was running the TBS Tavern in Mission Valley as well, and the Above Ash and the above the Carte Hotel. So when I was running 5 shows, I saw the friends or the people that were like, "Oh, you've come to the 619 and the Pali and the Santee show. Oh, you just need the Mission Valley and the Above Ash.
Yeah.
You got all 5.
You got your whole punch card.
Yeah. So this couple got the punch card. So I gave them "Make America Laugh Again" T-shirts as a souvenir. It's like you've done it. So it's only one group that's done all 5. I think there's a few that's done like four different venues.
That's fun.
But so what's down the line? I don't know. I mean, the world right now is so unpredictable, right? I'm another year and I'll be 30 years with HP. And so I can't afford to retire here in San Diego.
San Diego stuff
Um,
really makes you wish you still had that house.
no, absolutely.
I bet your mortge was
no.
less than your rent now.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Tell me about it. No, absolutely. Wish I'd done a lot of things different.
Right.
But I wouldn't be sitting
Wouldn't be
here.
sitting-
With,
there
I
you
wouldn't
go.
be sitting here with you, right? And so, whatever's down the line, whether I'm staying here for another 5-10 years or, like my daughter just graduated in December from San Diego State, and so she's planning to, live abroad, travel the
Yeah.
world and stuff. And so I'm, once she's kind of on her path, then I can kind of think about my path.
Yeah.
Like my son is graduating as well in England in the next couple of months. And he's doing sports journalism and he wants to, loves soccer. And so, he's going to be on his path as well. And so now I can start thinking about myself. And I don't know, I'm looking at, going maybe down to South America somewhere.
Yeah. Ready to travel. Again.
Ready
to start
travel
moving.
and go and live in, I don't know, Bali, Costa Rica, Colombia, for $1,500, 2,000 grand a month, all in, not just living, but the accommodation, but all in. And you can have a beautiful life for a fraction of the cost as here. So
And still be able to work. Like you can work. You can do your gig remotely.
I mean, I would love to find
Yeah.
comedy down there for like expats. There's always tourism,
Yeah.
and English speaking communities in certain areas, in these countries. And so maybe I can find places where I can make that like
Right.
English speaking comedy club, and even the locals, even if they like want to learn English or their English is pretty good, it's like I want to see comedy in English.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you'd be surprised. Like I went back to Barcelona, a year and a half ago, and I hit up a friend who put me in touch with some booker there, and he sent me the spreadsheet of all the mics and shows in Barcelona. Hit one of them up, and next thing I know, I'm booked on one of the comedy clubs in Barcelona. I'm doing comedy in front of and there were
English speaking.
yeah, but they were like from Eastern Europe and from other parts of Europe, and there were two English couples sitting front row, where it was hilarious. The comic before me was talking about like in Barcelona, a lot of the restaurants and stuff, a lot of Chinese immigrants come over and they're invested in the businesses and they're running the businesses, and the English group were kind of like the Pakis in England. And I was
And then
like,
you were up next.
and I was up next, and the first thing that I was like, "Hi, my name is Kash, and I'm a Paki," and I just looked at them, and they just went bright red, and the whole room just exploded.
Mm-hmm.
They just laughed so much. But yeah, I mean, like, there's comedy all over the world,
Mm-hmm.
and so why not?
Yeah, why not?
If I go live in Bali for a little while. There's a lot of expats from New Zealand, Australia, Brits, Canadians, Americans, you name it. So, but just, whatever I got saved up or, retirement or whatever, I could work here for another 15 years and still not afford to live here.
Right.
And I can take what I've got today and make that last way longer.
Yeah.
And
live well.
And live well.
Yeah.
And live well. And that's the thing, so, and you got to come out and visit me.
There you go. Yeah. You'll be entrenched. You'll have a bunch of shows going. So I'll already be booked for the week. Well, this was so fun. It was great getting to know you better. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And if you want, you can look into that, Cameron, and tell people where to find you, where to find your shows, what nights you have stuff going in San Diego. Go ahead.
You can find me on Instagram. It's Kash Comedy, Kash with a K, Comedy with a K. I have a weekly show at Pali Wine Company down in Little Italy every single Wednesday. That show starts at 7:30. The second Tuesday of each month, I have a show at B&S Brewing in Santee. And then every 2 weeks on a Sunday, I have a show at 619 Spirits in North Park. And those are all free shows. Turn up or make a reservation or go on Eventbrite and just register so we know who's coming. But these are all free shows. I'm trying to bring comedy to communities. And so come, and we have donation-based, we share the tips or donations that you guys drop in the tip jar.
In the stripper bucket.
In the stripper bucket, yeah. We have a stripper bucket. It's a champagne bucket.
Yeah.
And we share that out with the comics. But
and I will say, the shows you run, one, you provide a lot of stage time to locals, and it's good stage time with good audiences. You are very supportive of even newer comics. And it's like, in not to say you'll let anybody go up all at the same time. I've definitely seen you see somebody and be like, there's potential there, and I'm going to give them the time to grow some. And that's really what comedy takes, is just the stage time and somebody believing you enough to give you 10 minutes instead of 4 to let you spread your wings and fail a few times sometimes, to then figure out how to do the 10.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm trying to give, just on the last note, I'm trying to give comics the opportunity that I would have wanted for myself when I started comedy, right? And so, I have my group of comics like yourself that I can rely on. You're going to deliver, right? Whether it's headlining or being in the lineup. And, I book those constantly. And in that pool of comics, I'm always looking for newer comics. And the only way to really know how well they are is giving that opportunity to get on stage. And, it's like the first time if they don't do well, I give them at least a couple of opportunities, a couple of different venues, and see them shine. And then they become regulars on my shows as well. And, some of the, and I get comics that come up to me and go like, hey, I want a headline. Sure. If you're ready. It's not for me to decide, because I've gone to places and gone, hey, can I headline this show? And they're like, what? Let me see a tape. Let me see this or whatever. I'm like, you want a headline? Go ahead. And
which is a gutsy move.
No, and I've done that, and now they're headliners on my shows.
Yeah.
I book them as headliners because once you headline and you do well, and I feel you can hold the room, great, you're going to be a headliner. If you there's one or two that you were okay, but I don't think you're ready for prime time. But that's how it is,
Well, thank you for all the time, all the stage time, and supporting the scene, and it's it was great having you.
And thank you for everything you do for the community as well.
I'm not sure what you're referring to.
the manly tips you give.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks, Kash.
You're welcome.